face up against Roger. Here we go. Mage versus Mage. Oh, this matchup can get real degenerate sometimes if it becomes, you know, one player having Mountain Giant, one player does not.
Yeah. I mean, the most important card in this matchup is actually that one that bloodyface has in his opening hand, Book of Specters. Book of Specters is what these decks are built around, and it's a big part of the reason why I feel like a lot of the versions that we've seen, or at least saw early on, that play Power of Creation were generally making mistakes, because I think Power of Creation is a card that pulls against your Book of Specters, which is just what your deck is built around. You can't play your Mountain Giants early if you don't have Book of Specters, or at least, you know, sit there and play only cards that don't fill your hand and then just naturally play it, you know, on turn 5 going first, turn 4 going second, which doesn't give you a very good game against most decks.
Right.
But I feel like in this mirror match, Viper's build looks to me like it ought to have an edge. He is playing 2 copies of Voodoo Doll where bloodyface has none. So he has the ability to remove big minions like Mountain Giant. Also, he has 2 copies of Arcane Keysmith, the 4-cost minion that discovers a secret. And that can be very powerful in a number of situations, whether you hit a, let's say, a Spellbender for your opponent's Conjurer's Calling. That can be, you know, disastrous for them. Or, you know, even hit just a mirror entity. There's not very many small minions that you can play in a lot of, or rather you can afford to play in a lot of circumstances.
Oh.
Ooh. Well, the second Book of Specters is very good, though you can't actually play it here without discarding. I probably have more games played with Book of Specters Maze than anyone else in the world, considering I played it all last year, so I know all the flashpoints.
Well,
Back
I mean,
before it was cool.
He does have his Conjurer's Calling. Is bloodyface playing any other spells besides that one additional copy? So no, he's gonna pretty much.
Wow, he's gonna play it.
All but guarantee that he has a full hand.
Yeah, playing this here, you will overdraw. Unless you hit your other
Conjurer's Calling?
Your other Conjurer's Calling,
which
right?
you don't really want
Right.
to do because it's so good. And either way, you do get to play the Mountain Giant on 4.
Right.
So it's something that bloodyface is considering.
He's going, he's playing it. He does hit the other Conjurer's Calling. So I
How
guess,
did he do that?
I guess he's not gonna overdraw.
That was amazing.
And I have to wonder, you know, was this specifically because, you know, he wants to? I mean, obviously, getting that mana out of the way and playing the spell is valuable if you are, you know, are not wasting a resource. If this is, you know, if it is a matchup that is more based on tempo, which I believe this is.
I think so. I think he's fishing for maybe a specific card.
Yeah, he could be looking for Khadgar. Khadgar obviously gives you extremely powerful options alongside Book of Specters.
Yeah, because it makes sense if you play Giant on 4, Khadgar, Conjurer's Calling.
Yeah, Viper does overdraw from his Book of Specters, and now this is kind of a test for Viper. You know, do I want to just use my Voodoo Doll plus coin to kill this here? If I do not, and my opponent has Conjurer's Calling, then I may have lost my opportunity to actually deal with it. However, I just saw a Conjurer's Calling get hit off of a Book of Specters. Does that mean that I think that bloodyface is less likely to have Conjurer's Calling in his hand because there's only a single copy remaining? And if he does use his coin here, you know, does he fall too far behind?
Oh, you're right. And I think that that greed here from Viper, which is very warranted, might end up being a huge punish. The nice thing, though, is because the Twilight Drake will survive.
Well, interestingly, Viper has Khadgar. So Viper has Khadgar Calling for 4 drops against just a calling for 12 drops.
Sure.
So, you know,
it's a lot worse.
It is, but, you know, is bloodyface a situation where he wants to just leave this up and go for his Conjurer's Calling here? He could remove it. He could, you know, use, say, Ziliax here.
Yeah, Ziliax protects him.
Yeah, I would expect we're going to see the calling. If we do, there's 2 more Giants. And now I would expect what we see from Viper, because it's really the only thing that I think can hope to claw him back into this, is the Khadgar into calling for a bunch more stuff. I mean, he could, you know, use that that Voodoo Doll here, but he's again facing Conjurer's Calling.
Right.
Khadgar plus calling, you know, uses this 4-drop with only 1 health left.
Yeah, the twin spell aspect of Conjurer's Calling is really backbreaking this position.
Yeah, you know that no matter what, your opponent can do it again next turn. And you also, also if you do Khadgar plus calling, you could get MC Teched and Conjurer's calling next turn.
Jeez. I think Viper already feels like he's so far behind, and we're kind of talking about how volatile this matchup can be. It just reminds me of the handlock days, where it's like Mountain Giant. All right, I'm just gonna try to avoid it. Oh, I faceless my giant and push, or if I cube my giant and push.
Yeah,
these are just the really big punishes in the matchup.
Yeah, I think he's going for it. I think he's like, okay, I need something.
Oh, I think he got a Houndmaster Shaw.
No. Oh, he did. He did.
Are you serious?
Kill one of them. Okay. All right.
And he burns his Khadgar. What is happening?
Okay. Well. So I mean, I think bloodyface has to kill Houndmaster Shaw. Houndmaster Shaw is way too devastating to leave on the board because it means that Voodoo Doll just kills your stuff for 3 mana. You play Voodoo Doll, rush it into something else. You know, I don't think that just attack into Conjurer's Calling is a reasonable option for bloodyface here.
Right.
He's gonna. Okay.
Well, he said you just had difficulty clearing one of these giants, let alone 2 or both of these giants. I'm gonna put them again.
Oh my God.
Okay. This game
Mountain
is
Giant for Viper. He can Mountain Giant attack, Conjurer's Caller Mountain Giant, clear the entire board. This is crazy. Oh my God. This is just so explosive back and forth.
Yeah, you don't have to watch the Avengers movie anymore. You just got all the action you ever needed. This is the Hearthstone I like to see.
It's like the opposite of the Thanos snap. We just double everything in play. We just double it. Back and forth.
Balanced, as all things should be.
I mean, I think that bloodyface is going to very much regret not clearing that Houndmaster Shaw #2.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, at this point, I don't even know what to expect. I just want both players to draw nonstop Deathwings at this point.
Well, I mean, from bloodyface's perspective now, how do you get back on this board? This is now a Houndmaster Shaw protected by a 7/8 taunt. It's a 7/8. You can't crowd roaster that.
Crowd roast the 3/3.
Yeah, and then there's just the 7/8, and then your opponent gets to deal with your 7/4 and just have a massive tempo advantage.
The thing is, if he went for the clear on the Houndmaster Shaw, he would not get the Conjurer's Calling on the Mountain Giant opportunity anymore either, because then there's the Voodoo Doll removal.
Right.
So it was kind of a weird checkmate scenario for bloodyface. It's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
It's true. It is true.
And maybe Viper saw that line and he was able to go for that gambit, which, if that's what ends up panning out, that is brilliant. And if not, then he is one gambling man.
Yeah, look at this Voodoo Doll off the Houndmaster Shaw.
And the rush.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Look at this. Like, Houndmaster Shaw is so insane when both players just have a bunch of minions.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the decision to leave Houndmaster Shaw up may have just been a serious error for bloodyface here, because it is just not a card that you can beat if your opponent has a reasonable hand. If your opponent has anything, your decks are very similar, right? And if you have similar sorts of things you're each doing, the person just gets to attack first. It's like you're playing against another warrior, and they have Dr. Boom and you don't.
Yeah, and right now bloodyface can play 2 Scale Worms.
Yeah.
To clear the board.
And kill 1 minion.
I think that might be his best course of option to survive. He doesn't have a good mind control tech play because there's 3 minions. Ziliax here is very weak. And the nice thing about Houndmaster Shaw, the nice thing about playing against Houndmaster Shaw is it's still only rush. It's like Dr. Boom. You don't have to worry about your minions getting value traded constantly, which is what's happening.
Time runs out on me. What to do?
And Viper too. He's consolidating his board to 3 minions. He's playing around this MC tech. Is there really a way for bloodyface to get back in this?
I think the double Scale Worm has to come down here.
Yeah.
It's all defense from this point on.
you can't play defense against the Houndmaster Shaw. You can't. You just can't get any foothold in the board as long as the card's in play.
It is not fair to say the least when you get the Houndmaster Shaw and you get all the initiative. I mean, we're talking about how Dr. Boom Mad Genius is great. Now you get a minion that gets to attack and keep that buff.
Unless you kill it, you got to kill it.
Well, you could kill it. Viper has potential ways to even just like cement the game 100%. Fire Tree Witch Doctor picks up burn. And he's weighing all of his options, and I like it. He's not rushing into things. He's thinking, okay, what are some possible ways that I lose from this spot because I'm so far ahead?
I feel like the Astromancer play is weighing on his mind in terms of I don't want to possibly get MC teched. If he gets MC tech, say, takes Houndmaster Shaw, then another big minion can come down and possibly clear off the rest of his board. Yeah. So I think that that's definitely something that Viper is worrying about here, and I think we may just see a single minion come down for that reason.
Unity, precision.
Yeah, I like it. He still sets up lethal. With a moment's hesitation, considers all the possibilities. He also knows that Bloodyface doesn't have Conjurer's Calling himself anymore because the second one got burned from the Book of Specters. Right. Therefore, he can't abuse that and then go for Mind Control Tech.
Rabble Bouncer, not a great defense.
I think Bloodyface might be just cornered here. The Rabble Bouncer plus Ziliax, I guess, is his best defense. That seems so bad.
I mean, there's no way to defend yourself with taunts against Houndmaster Shaw. I keep saying it, but it's just true. Because, as long as your opponent just gets to play big things that can attack right away, you're just going to get killed.
But the alternative is to remove minions, and he can't remove enough. And Viper was calculating for the Crowd Roaster and things like, other removal tools. There's going to be 7 damage no matter how Bloodyface cuts it. He has to play taunts.
Yep.
And the nice thing, I guess, is that Ziliax at least gains life.
King Ziliax does keep him alive. Goes
so he thinks until Fire Tree Witch Doctor does something about that to maybe add damage to end the game. Fire Tree Witch Doctor can discover any burn spell. Not any burn spell, because Ziliax gains life. It can discover Fireball. Cinderstorm will also do the trick.
Well, Fireball won't actually end the game, right? He's at 10. And then the life steal of Ziliax.
Yeah, so the Fire Tree Witch Doctor trades in, and then you Fireball.
It's the third. Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, I was briefly forgetting about the rush.
After you were talking about it so much. I was like,
wait, what?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think the point is that Bloodyface is in desperation mode, and Viper, I mean, honestly, this Astromancer might be able to pick up like a charge minion and end the game.
I feel like right now Viper's just trying to avoid disaster. I feel like he is in a absolutely dominant position. Yeah. And he has any number of ways that he can try and win from here. And he's just trying to figure out, what is least susceptible to disaster.
My calculations are flawless.
Oh, okay.
That works too.
And now he's like, I'm going to make a board that, I'm not vulnerable anymore.
How are you going to do Shaw like that, man, after he was so good to you?
I know. He just came to hang out.
Heartless.
You did him dirty like that, just threw him to his death. He could have easily survived.
And now, Bloodyface, I think he's completely cornered. He's got nothing. If he plays Rabble Bouncer, he can't play the Crowd Roaster.
I wonder.
I don't see any way for him to get out of this game. At least not alive.
Arena's full. Beat it.
And I think with that, is that enough with the Dragon Maw Scorcher?
Yeah. Dragon Maw Scorcher.
Looks like it's going to be it. That was an explosive game, and Kibler, it is so appropriate that we're in a basketball stadium because I just watched a game of NBA Jam in Hearthstone.